Okay, guys. So I just kind of realized that I gave away my answer in the last video, but that's okay. But I said that C was going to be the right answer that we chose here, right? And why is it that C is the best one? Well, if the phrase says that he shined a light on their paths, it means that like his craft and his songwriting and his techniques were able to kind of inspire other people to do the same thing and really make rock music, rock and roll, a big important genre, right? So talking about shining a light on their paths, well, it helped them to learn their craft in rock and roll by studying his songwriting and performing. So even though that A is really close, right, making musicians play rock and roll, the whole making or play rock and roll for a living, it doesn't really talk much about him setting them up to be able to make it into a career and live on it, right? It talks more about how he was able to write the songs and to perfect this rock and roll craft, right? So that's why C is our correct answer there. So let's scroll on down and see what it's going to ask us. Look at the answer that we chose above and explain how the context in the paragraph helps you to understand the meaning of shine a light on many rock stars' paths. Well, I said that the stuff that came after it really helped me to understand, even though it was tricky, it helped me to understand what was the right answer when I looked at those last few lines that talk about John Lennon saying that his sound and style was influenced by Chuck Berry, right? So that's kind of what I might put here for that answer. So I might say the context at the end of the paragraph helped me to realize that Berry's style and songwriting, oops, I think I spelled that wrong, influenced stars like John Lennon. If you're not sure who John Lennon is, he was one of the Beatles in that rock group, and he's a pretty famous dude, even though he has been gone for a while now, right? But so as my computer loads my answer here, right, with all my typos, since I can't see what I'm typing, it says the context at the end of the paragraph helped me to realize that Barry's style and songwriting influenced stars like John Lennon to become rock and roll musicians, right? So I was able to look at the information around it, in this case, after it, and I was able to say, okay, well, based on what John Lennon said, when he said that if you wanted to call rock and roll something else, you should probably just call it Chuck Berry, and he talked about how he was influenced by him. Well, that helped me to realize that this phrase, shining a light on the path, really just means like giving them the ability and the knowledge to become rock and roll musicians themselves, right? To shine a light on their path, maybe to pave the path for them, to set up the path for them, right? So the context at the end of the paragraph helped me to realize that Barry's style and songwriting influenced stars like John Lennon to become rock and roll musicians. All right. So once you're done with this part, right, since I said that page 98 just shows the story that we're going to be reading tomorrow, you can go ahead and submit this to Canvas where it needs to go in the module. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about from what we missed yesterday and today is how to do our independent reading. Okay, so go ahead and turn this in onto Canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our independent reading as my final topic. Okay, guys. So my last topic of today's videos is the independent reading. Okay, and I might have talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I think we had so many technology issues that I didn't really get to describe it. So all students, no matter what school you're at, are going to start doing independent reading every day. Okay, just for 15 minutes each day, but you're going to be using your independent reading book to read 15 minutes every day. Now, North Coast, you guys are going to be logging that in one way, and Case and Northwest, you're going to be logging it in a different way. So in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do each one so that you know how to log your independent reading time.